So I'm on my way to Nacogdoches this morning to meet with my friend Curtis. We've got some lead camp planning to take care of today. Curtis is the worship pastor at Calvary Baptist. Out of all the worship technology experts I know, Curtis is in my top 5. What gives him a really unique perspective is he's also a worship pastor. So let's see what kind of information we can pull out of him today.
I would say I think the most important thing a worship leader needs when it comes to technology is some basis of knowledge about mixing in a soundboard. Without it, there's just so much that can go wrong that we can't fix. And we have to be able to lead every member of our team, which doesn't mean we have to be the best piano player, but we need to know how one works.
Right.
You know, we need to understand why our microphones work the way they do, but most of all, we need to be able to look at our sound man and explain what we want, not just say it's too loud or it's too soft, but really understand this is how the signal's flowing through the board, this is what's going to control it, so we're not asking for something that's impossible from them.
Right.
So we have the knowledge to look at them and say, this is what I need, and I know we can do this.
So like need as in like just knowing that once you hit the board, you've got to figure out what you need from the game, or are you talking about a little further down, like what you need from the EQ or something?
Sometimes equalization or monitor mixing, those kinds of things, and understanding when you ask for something, what it's going to require him to do on that side. If you say, I want it louder, and he's liable to turn it up in the room and not in your monitor.
Right.
You need to understand, hey, these are two different controls. I need to know how they work.
Okay. So where would you tell someone to go?
Well, the first place they would go is the Innovate Praise Conference coming up in April, or hopefully next year in April again.
Right.
But it's a great time to come and get some hands-on. It's hard to find those opportunities. There are other conferences around in areas you just have to hunt for them, find them. There's a lot of good material on the internet. You can YouTube something, and you can find guys who will explain how signal flows through the board or how to EQ.
Right.
It won't always be exactly right, but you can usually pick up pretty good knowledge from it.
Okay, now if I'm going to EQ it, or I'm going to Google that, what's going to be the search term? What would I use?
I would probably look for something specific. Don't just look for how to run a soundboard.
Okay.
You're going to end up with some huge general thing.
Right.
You look for something more like how to mix monitors or how to EQ a channel or something like that, and you'll find there'll be 1,000 things come up. Look for somebody who maybe has a music store, not the guy who's just like in his bedroom mixing. That's not a good plan,
Okay.
And watch more than one and compare them. Hey, these guys say the same thing or they say something different, because sometimes you're going to get a guy who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
But a lot of times these music stores, they'll do a demo of something because they want to sell it to you, and they'll show you how to do something on it. And that's usually a pretty good source. And watch more than one thing. They're only 1.5 minutes long each. Watch 3 or 4 of them and say, hey, they all said the same thing about this, and you can use that.
Right. Okay. All right. So, standing up on the platform Sunday morning, something goes wrong with your sound. What do you do as a worship leader?
You point to your sound man and scream.
You blame it on them?
And just be like, what's wrong with you? No. Hey, half the problems in the sound system on a Sunday morning, half of them are going to be on the soundboard side and half of them are going to be on the stage side. So one of the things you have to identify is where's the problem. If the problem's in your booth, there's not a whole lot you can do. You got to trust your guys. And you really do. The problem's on your stage, they're trusting you to take care of it. You need to make the move. No matter what, it's worship time, it's go time. If your monitor mix is bad, get over it.
Right.
It's time to lead worship, If your mic is off, grab another microphone, Sometimes you just have to do it that way.
Just almost not be rattled by it. Just keep moving forward.
Yep, it's game time. You got to go, and you can't wait around for something to happen.
Yeah.
If the power goes out, you keep singing,
Yeah.